Are you listening?
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Hey everybody, it's Joe Hicks. Welcome to your success. Hey, I've got a special guest today and I'm pretty stoked. It's David Prom, and David Prom's been a friend of mine for a while. I actually hold my real estate license with him. And him and Nick Andrews just started another company called fundmybusinessaz.com. And he is super excited. I'm excited for him. This is right up my alley, and I just love what they're doing. And so I just want to have him talk a little bit about who he is, what he's done, and what have you. So I'll let Dave talk.
All right. So the reason we kind of came up with this was a means to an end for us, really. I mean, when we were out there trying to hit the pavement, trying to raise funds, as typical entrepreneurs are always trying to do, we found that the door was slammed in our face more times than not. And so, especially when you got an idea that's not in the norm, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody understands real estate. Everybody gets shopping centers and stuff like that, but when you're doing family entertainment or anything that's outside the box, nobody gets it.
No banks?
No banks. Banks just don't. It's not something that falls in their normal wheelhouse, even though it's a very lucrative market, right? So what happened was we met with a couple individuals that said, you need to kind of get on the crowdfunding bandwagon for the intrastate. And we said, that sounds great. How do we do that? And so they kind of went through the whole process. It was a pretty simple process. It was, tedious and time-consuming for us because, as we found out, we ended up having to do it ourselves. And so the first thing we got out of their mouths was, nobody. Nobody's doing it. So, we didn't really have an outlet to go to. So that was what started the whole thing, Fund My Business AZ. Because if there's no one out there doing it, how do you get the funding? So again, an ends to a mean for us, and so that's how we started Fund My Business AZ.
Great. Well, my question to you, Dave, is you've been in real estate, you've been very successful in real estate. Why all of a sudden did you guys want to turn the corner to do something? I know you started the Family Fun Zone or the Family Fun Entertainment Centers, and you were starting to go with that. I understand the evolution of it, but explain to everybody what, and this is a true entrepreneur, right? This is a true entrepreneur. Going from one thing and seeing that it leads to another, opening another door and making it a business. But explain to everybody why you decided to do, and you're still very active in real estate, very successful in real estate. Why have you gone to this type of business and this door that you walk through?
Well, I think, again, it kind of goes back to the first question, right? So for us as entrepreneurs and people that are in the real estate business, it's still, with the market recovering, and you got to remember, it took us 14 months to basically get through the whole process of even setting this up. But, back then, and even prior to that, money's tight. People aren't just opening their wallets. And I'm sure that most of your audience can probably attest to that. It's hard to get funding. So at the end of the day, for us, even though we're successful real estate guys, and if we bring in an apartment complex, we can get somebody to jump on the bandwagon with that easily. But with doing anything that's outside the box, which is really what we were trying to do with the family entertainment centers or jump centers or any of the projects that we're currently working on, it's hard to get the initial capital. We have the strength to get the funding for financing. It's the ultimate down payment that everybody's requiring. The 35, the 40% down payment that they're going to require you to have in the game, the skin in the game, so to speak. And so that's kind of how this all came to place. And so for us, this was a means to an end to be able to do our family entertainment centers. And to your point, yeah, it's true. Entrepreneurs start down different paths, but the idea is we didn't want to lose focus of doing the family entertainment centers. We wanted to make sure that we had a path of least resistance to being able to get the funding to be able to go out and get the financing, if that makes sense.
It does. Why not private investors? Why not raise money the old-fashioned way as far as an entrepreneur and go get venture capital, go to, a mom and pop kettle and grab some, funds from them, family, friends, all this stuff?
Sure, that's obviously viable options, but it goes back to the same thing: is when you're doing something that's creative and outside the box, people don't understand it. So if I was going to do an apartment complex, super easy. I can explain it to everybody. You try and explain to them that we're going to do, video games and bowling and, restaurants and it immediately turns to deer in the headlight.
Yeah, that's so true. What motivates David Prom about business?
Wow, the art of the deal is really the chase for me. When I'm doing a deal or I'm sitting down with clients and I'm having to negotiate either price or details of the contract, that's really what gets the blood flowing for me. And so, going back to this whole crowdfunding, this is the art of the deal every single day. Every single one of these deals, we have to get in, we have to see it, we have to touch it, and that's what I love about it. We're helping young entrepreneurs, basically nurturing them. Either they're entrepreneurs that have been doing it for a while and just can't seem to get any traction because it's some sort of different type idea, or it's people that are brand new. It could be college students that are just coming out of college. They've got the greatest widget that you may have invented, and they're new to it, so they're not going to. They're young, they're new. They're not going to get financing, so this is a great avenue to have. And one of the things I want to make very clear is that it's open to all Arizona residents. It doesn't need to be family, friends, anything like that. All Arizona residents, accredited, non-accredited, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how much money you make or anything like that. It's open to everybody, which is a big deal.
Yeah. We go visit their website, which is fundmybusinessaz.com. Very informative, and you're going to see a lot of stuff start happening very quickly. Entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur. What excites you about being an entrepreneur? Now, the question I asked before is, what did you like about business?
Right.
But as an entrepreneur, what excites you about that?
So, as an entrepreneur, you're not tied to one specific idea or one specific business. As an entrepreneur, you're looking at anything and everything. So, for me, I just like to get up in the morning and see what I'm going to see, and what's next on the horizon. Is it a medical device that somebody brings to us? Is it some new solar project? Is it a brewery? Is it it could be any of those things. And as an entrepreneur, I love all that stuff, especially the stuff that's quirky and different, because those are the things that change the way we live in society today. Imagine what it was like when they first came out with the combustion engine, right? Everybody thought, oh, what are you going to do with that? We got horses. We don't need that. Changed the whole way the world is.
So true. What do you want out of this experience? And I'm gonna put them in different silos, if you will.
Okay.
The experience of Fund My Business AZ versus your real estate versus all the other things that you do. Out of this one, we're focused in on, because it's such a big deal and it's right up my alley, what I like to do and what I've been doing for many years. What are you trying to get from this experience? What do you want at the end of the day, looking down the road? What are you trying to get out of this experience?
Well, I think for me, it's that ability to mentor young entrepreneurs, people with bright minds, obviously probably smarter than I am, and the ability to help them to create a product or an idea and help them get it off the ground and be able to say that, hey, you know what, I was there when that guy was first starting out. He was the guy that led the path. He was the Wright brothers, if you will, of his industry.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. How can you make the company better?
So I think as far as, because it's so new, as far as making it better, I think it's really about getting exposure to the masses, right? Because it's all about helping the little guy in Arizona is really what it's about, and we're very Arizona driven. We love Arizona. We love where we live. I've raised up my family here, and so for us, to be able to make the business better is just being able to help small businesses in Arizona, help grow our economy, and and that hand in hand, right? You know how it works, right? If we're helping them, they're helping us, and the business is growing. And so that's as far as I'm concerned, that's how I can help the business.
No, it makes total sense. what is your ambition?
My ambition. Well, if you can't tell, I like the art of the deal, as I said. So I'm passionate about, all of the aspects of, every transaction, every deal, every form of business that we do. You try and stay engaged. I love, this may sound quirky, but I love the documentation. I love all the paperwork. I love all of that stuff. It's all part of the nature of the beast, right? And you have to do it. And I know a lot of people look at it like what your response is. They're like, but I love that stuff. I love documenting the stuff and, having that paper trail at the end of the day and being able to dot the I's, cross the T's, making sure you have everything in the line. But for me, I enjoy that. I like all those aspects.
Good for you. I'll come to you to get all my paperwork done.
Right.
If you were to give a college student advice, and there was 3 pieces of advice you would give them coming into an entrepreneurial situation, what would you give them?
So the first thing I would tell them is make sure you're complete. In other words, in essence, when you bring an idea forward, make sure you have all the pieces. Because a lot of times you only get one shot. If you're going to sit down in front of Joe Hicks and you're going to explain to him a deal, you need to make sure you have all the stuff. Right? We've all seen the Shark Tank.
You only get one first impression, right?
Right, yeah. And so, we've all seen the Shark Tank, right? And the guy gets up there and they ask him one question, which should be a super simple question, and he's
not prepared.
I don't know what to say. And, let's face it, a lot of times that's, them being choked up because they're on national TV and so forth. But a lot of times they don't know. And you should know what your product is, you should know what your numbers are, you should know what your demographics are, you should know what your returns are, you should know all those pieces. So that would be the number one thing I would tell any entrepreneur, young entrepreneur out there starting anything, be prepared. And even if you think it's overkill, you need to do it because, to your point, you only get one opportunity to make your first impression.
Okay. What else?
Second thing, never give up, right? Because let's face it, guys that are out there, keep pounding away at it, those are the winners. The guys that give up, unfortunately, they're the losers. Because you could have, one great idea, and just because it doesn't take off today, doesn't mean that you're not going to be successful. Those ideas could always circle back. We've been working on projects for years, and, they're starting to come to life. And even though, we look like we're not working on them, we're always working on every piece of every project we've worked on that's never gotten done. We're always making sure that we keep it alive, keep it going. So never give up. That's a big thing. Never give up because, and if you do give up, everybody's going to see it.
Yeah. And I always say that you're one step closer to success if you fail or you stop right there. Who knows, that next phone call, that next meeting, that next thing could have been it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the third thing?
Oh, the very last thing. Oh, wait a minute. I guess the very last thing that I would wrap up with, the advice I would give an entrepreneur is set your goals to where you can obtain them. Don't shoot for your very first project. The first thing you're ever going to try and do is you're going to try and raise $100 million. Make it a sustainable goal. Make it something that's reasonable because you're brand new. If you're a brand new entrepreneur or it's a brand new idea, make sure that it's sustainable because it may be the greatest thing since sliced bread, but if you don't start out small, you're never going to get somewhere.
Wow.
It's not.
Wow. Buddy, thank you so much.
Hey, you bet. Yes.
It's David Prom. And go check out his website, fundmybusinessaz.com.
Please do.
Phenomenal, and it is something that you guys need to check out. Regardless if you're in Arizona or not, I think it's something to behold and look at, that you might be able to look at businesses outside of Arizona. Who knows where this will go? This may grow.
Yeah.
We're not sure, but
free to sign up.
There you go.
And it's super easy. You never know, right? You get signed up, you get on there for free. Next thing you know, there could be a project that you just absolutely love and want to get in on.
Absolutely. And as always, to your success. I'm Joe Hicks.
I'm David Prom.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.